into that place of being able to feel like I am being out in the world, even though we're all doing it. We all have to do it every day, show up for ourselves. There's something quite, as for those of you who haven't actually gone to this route yet, there's something quite vulnerable about just going out live and not knowing who's going to come and see you and not being able to see the faces. And so for me, that lack of connection in that sense, that disconnection of not being able to see, I notice what it does to me in my nervous system. And so I'm just being really kind to myself here and allowing myself to just film this and then put it out to you live. And if you do want to comment or say anything afterwards, then I will absolutely comment back. But I'm also not going to stress my nervous system by being on the phone all the time like some people are. I think it's healthy to also be completely off screen and not in the digital world, right? But we can't help it. It's part of where we're at. So get to the point. Somatic dance, how does it connect and awaken self-love? Well, there are a lot of ways we can sort of take care of ourselves better and to look after ourselves better. But self-love is something that comes from such a deep, deep place within that it doesn't matter how many people who love you tell you that you're amazing and wonderful. If you don't have an intrinsic sense of self-worth, their words don't mean SHIT, right? It really doesn't mean anything. We have to cultivate that knowledge deep within us. And one way to do it, and a very actually important and vital way, is through somatic awareness, through the awareness of our whole being. Most of the time we're here and with all the things that we need to do. So we're always in here. Only when we have an injury, when our body doesn't play a game, we start to actually realize, oh, okay, yeah, I have some knees and they're giving me jip. I do have a back that's is getting a bit stiff. And, you know, when they start to give pain is when you start to notice what's going on in your body. Most of the time you don't really notice unless you're an athlete or, you know, someone who's always cultivating this. And even then, if you're actually more concerned about your aesthetics and you're a model, then you're still not worrying about how you actually feel and what's going on for your body. All you care about is the outer projection, right? So when you are when we work on a somatic level, we have to drop deep within and we have to sense into our very being. So if you're watching this right now, sit down on the chair. If you're sitting on a chair, see if you can drop in and notice how your pelvis is sat on that chair. Can you get a sense of your sit bones and the actual surface that you're sat on? Is it a hard chair? Is it a soft chair? Is it a saggy chair? And as you breathe in, can you get a sense of where your breath is traveling to in your body? Can you get a sense of the shape and the size of your body, the capacity of your body? Can you get a sense of how your breath fills your body? Can you get a sense of where you are in space? How are your feet? Are they on the ground? Are you perched on one leg? Are you sitting straight? Where are your hands? Are they rested and relaxed? Are your shoulders rested and relaxed? So by doing this simple exercise of just dropping in and noticing how your body is, then your attention is going from here. Your thought process drop into the present and your awareness of your body. And when you are in somatic awareness of your body, it drops you into a place of presence that if you're really being conscious and aware of how you are feeling and sensing in your body, you're just observing. Okay? Can you just look at your hands? and your arms, and just observe the shape of your hands and your fingers. Observe how your skin looks, or observe what movements your hand can make. Maybe observe your fingers and the shape of them. And do you notice how you might start to have judgments already? Oh, don't like, oh, my skin looks a bit dry. Oh, there's a bit of red patch on there. Oh, I wonder what happened. Oh, the judgments start to come in. So it's very, we're not being anymore. We're doing, we're thinking, we're judging. We're not in a state of pure presence and openness. And when we start to judge, already we're going away from our bodies and we're going back into our heads. And we're not in a place of openness. Now, this openness is something that children have. When we were young, we were so open and free. We weren't worrying about how we looked. I mean, I'm talking when we were very young. We weren't worrying about how we looked, what, how the shape of our body was, whether it was how it should be. We're just being present. And we don't have a sense of not self in that way of that we might not be accepted. We're just actually learning to get a sense of the world and who we actually are in this world. And having somatic awareness has that similar sense of finding ourselves in the world again, finding who we are. And at the same time as finding ourselves who we are, exploring with an openness that means we have to release our judgment. And where the extra dimension of when we're not just in our bodies, but when we start to move. And I don't mean, and the beauty of moving with somatic dance is not like other dance where you have to learn to remember the steps, where you have to remember to turn out or have everything in alignment. It's not about other movement practices where you have to reach a goal, where you have to do a certain number of reps. It's about just being open to exploring. And in exploring in open movement, all the tension that's been trapped from places where we haven't been moving, and all the thoughts and all the worries and all the past stuff that's still there is not just up there, it's locked into different places in our body, which is why sometimes when you start to move in a new way, you might find that in the past you always went to a certain way of holding your body because perhaps it was a self-protective mechanism, right? Or perhaps when you were a child, you had a trauma that suddenly made you curl into a certain position that you'd forget about. And then as you get older, you find yourself unconsciously going into that position, not quite knowing why, not remembering why you ever did it. So when we move and we allow our body to go into these new places, this is when it can become uncomfortable as well. Because when our bodies are used to locking into the same positions, it's uncomfortable to then try something new. And when you try something new, stuff will come up. That's why sometimes when you're dancing and moving, emotion might start to come up. Thoughts, memories, things that you hadn't even thought about for ages might come up. And this is part of the release. This is a part of a release. And by releasing these emotions, that's how we can start to feel a bit lighter. Okay, we're not carrying so much in our bodies anymore. We're not weighing our bodies down with this emotion and this feeling. We're just allowing it to release. So, with every breath, you can release. That's why, even just with the breath, that is a movement in itself. That is a somatic movement. When we bring our awareness to our breath, that is a somatic movement, and that is a somatic dance. And the extra dimension that we have when we dance and move rather than just do physical exercise or a particular step dance or a particular sport is that we are moving physically, but we are allowing our emotions to be expressed. So we're connecting into our emotions in a way that in other sports we might be suppressing them, or we might be trying to, constantly work on keeping going, or constantly work on remembering the sequence. And that can cause an underlying anxiety and a stress. Whereas when we just move freely, because we're giving ourselves that permission to move freely, it opens the channels. It opens our channels, okay? And when we actually open our channels, when we allow from a place of openness without judgment, everything relaxes, okay? So that's the first step, because a lot of us don't want to move and dance, or feel self-conscious about it, because we have our own self-judgments about how we look, what we're supposed to be doing. If we release these judgments, then we can just move more freely. We can release all the mind chatter, and we can then let our thoughts also dissipate, or we might feel inspired by our thoughts. So then when we're getting inspired, we're not holding on to old thoughts that are pulling us down. We're getting new inspiration. So the movement is also creating the new pathways within all of us, all of our body. And that's how we can awaken new ideas, new thoughts, and new feelings, and new sensations, and a new sense of self. A new sense of self that is present, where things are possible, and where the judgment's gone. We've released the judgment. We've just opened to possibility. So I'm going to post this on here, and please do comment. And I'm going to keep doing this until I get better and slicker, and every week I'm going to touch on something new. Sometimes I'm going to be on location because I'm going to be going away soon. Sometimes I might invite in new different exercises. Sometimes I will do some more dance little mini sessions. If you have questions, if you have things you'd like to see me do, if you'd like to have questions answered, then please do contact me. I'm all ears. Otherwise, please do meet me live in a class where I can also see you and we can also interact. I've got classes that I've started that are online. I can just, let me see, can I put the text for the, wait a minute, I'll just put in the link for the things for the classes. And also there's some free stuff on my website. If you haven't visited me on my website, then have a look. Okay. And so I'm putting that on now, if that works. Okay, add. Right? Not sure. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. Have a great week. Thanks. If you're still here, thanks for watching and staying with it. Bye.